Wow, that was an impressive shot. I thought this was really cool. I thought you might get a kick out of this, guys. Look at that. There's a little piece of one of the knives that's wedged in here really, really, really strongly. That's how much impact. Look how, I mean, that's crazy. So here in a minute, I'll take you up close and personal and show you these knives back here that we just shot and what happened to them in a minute. But right now, I'm just gonna give you a real quick, brief overview. Stay tuned though, because there's a lot of accessories in this particular shoot that are sponsored or sent in that we're testing. So we're testing tons of different gear all across the board, not just these knives. But let's just give a little quick run through here. If I had to say what really happened, I would say basically what you're looking at here is that you get what you pay for. The comm bar survived 2 direct hits, one here, one there. The pivots, obviously the one that you could see in other videos, other testing, was overly heat treated. The blade broke immediately on 1 direct hit. Holtzman survival took a direct hit right here and survived. These knives took a bunch of hits in the handle, and the handles survived but are very warped. The Blackthorn took 1 hit and just completely disintegrated, just busted apart. 1 hit. The Odin Wolf took a hit to the blade and shattered. The EDC Mutt took 3 direct hits with 1 handle scale popping off and 0 damage to the blade whatsoever. Absolutely insanely amazing, this knife right here. Super much thinner than the Tomahawk, but was able to withstand a bullet, and the Tomahawk wasn't. The Bonehawk, of course, took multiple direct hits, 1 to the handle here, no damage, 1 to the blade there, no damage. Other than the paint, it actually didn't even scratch the finish or change the chamfer there on the edge. Just absolutely unbelievable. This mini Scandi from Odin Wolf took a hit to the handle, and the handle busted up, but the blade itself didn't actually break, which is interesting. 1 did, 1 didn't. Here's the point of the Odin Wolf that broke off. You can see that's basically inferior heat treating when you see a fracture like that. There was an issue there to begin with. Either steel quality or inferior heat treating. The Bone Breacher took a direct hit as well, and 0 scratching, no damage whatsoever other than the paint, just a little bit of paint damage. So we'll run through this in further detail, guys, but that's kind of what we're looking at. All right, so let's talk about what happened and why, as well as what knives broke, which knives didn't, and the metallurgy and science behind toughness of a knife. So the Kova Blackthorn, I believe it is. Yep, Kova Blackthorn. It shattered with 1 impact. All right, I didn't keep shooting around this because it just completely shattered with 1 impact. We can do the closest compare and contrast between the Bonehawk and the Kova because they're most similar. So what we've got here is a direct impact to the handle and the corner here, and then another impact here. This had no damage to the Tomahawk whatsoever. It chipped the paint off. Here, it's got like some flaking, but these Modern Warrior versions, the handles, this is like 10 times stronger, this material, than this material. So, you know, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. The color pattern, everything, the toughness, it's made directly for the guys on the front lines, you know, that need the toughest tool available. World's strongest and sharpest Tomahawk. Anyway, the metallurgy behind it is that the handles of the Bonehawk are in an annealed state of 4140 chromoly, one of the toughest steels on the planet. In an annealed state, it's shock resistant, it bends, it goes back. When it gets hit, it absorbs the impact and goes right back. It's literally bulletproof, and there's just pretty much nothing you can do to damage it. The 3 points of the Tomahawk are hardened, okay? And then the shaft is annealed, so you have all of the characteristics we've been discussing this whole time, but as far as toughness goes, that's why it's so tough. This is very simply either inferior steel type or improper heat treating, or both, probably both. And I couldn't even find the other pieces of the blade. It just absolutely shattered. what's crazy is you can see how thick it was where it got hit. It took the impact on, I think it was this side, I believe. So it would have taken the impact like right here, okay? And the whole blade absolutely just shattered right there. So you can see that's what happens when an inferior Tomahawk takes a hit. And it's not that it's very thin right there. It's very thick right there. What's crazy, what's mind-blowing, honestly, is look at the EDC Mutt. This took 3 direct hits, okay? It took a hit here, 0 damage to the steel whatsoever, to the knife whatsoever. It took a hit here, direct hit to the handle. It didn't break on the first hit. It did. So the first hit that it took to the handle scale was this one, and it was fine. It looked basically just like this hit to the handle scale here. It took another direct hit right here. The bullet passed through the handle scale and then hit the steel. So what happened was, and the handle was basically fine up until the point that the bullet entered the handle and then kind of like exploded basically. As the bullet impacted the knife, it expanded and popped the handle scale off. So no handle scale is perfect, but you know, it was, just for reference, very tough handle scale, glued on with 5-ton epoxy. And then each one of these, you can see there's a space in here where each one of those was mechanically holding it on. The rivets didn't pop off. It actually had to destroy the entire handle scale. So a very unlikely scenario that the handle scale would come off, but being that this is an honest review, I'm sharing with you that it is possible that the handle scale pops off. The amazing thing is that every other knife that was even close to this, and I would venture to say pretty much every other knife that's close to this thickness in the world, any other knife this thin would have been destroyed. So that's absolutely amazing that this knife, you know, we can see this knife took 1 hit and was destroyed. Okay, the Odin Wolf, 1 hit, destroyed. This took 1 hit to the blade and was destroyed as well. This is the pivot, okay? All of this stuff will be linked in the description below, obviously. So, you know, this took some handle hits as well. You can see the bullet actually completely passed through the handle here, right? And broke the handle as well. Didn't just break the blade, it broke the handle. And you can see it's broken there and there, just really poor heat treat, and then ripped the piece of metal out and then threw the piece of metal back through the backstop. So there's no metal in here whatsoever. So the blade broke on 1 hit and then the handle broke on the other hit completely. Steel, handle material, everything. So this completely and utterly destroyed. This happened, the same happened to this. This blade only took 1 hit. This took a handle hit. So you can see the difference between a handle hit on any other knife and then a handle hit on a bone tactical knife. This took a handle hit and actually 3. This took 3 direct hits to the handle and the scale popped off. This particular one took 1 hit right here and destroyed the knife, broke it in half, literally broke the knife in half. So this one, I couldn't even find the other 2 pieces of this knife. So this knife as well is destroyed as we discussed. 1 hit to the blade and shattered. Very similar thickness to the EDC Mutt, but just 10 times stronger knife here than what you'll get from even a good production knife like these. You know, this was the Scandi one that the blade got destroyed in testing. We talked about Scandi grinds, and then this took 1 hit to the handle as well, and it was not a direct hit. It was kind of a glancing blow. It didn't hit the metal. It just hit the handle, and it kind of ripped open the handle, and the blade would probably pull out. You can see it's got a very small tang, so it didn't hit the handle, but the knife stayed intact, which is cool. So that's interesting. Another really interesting thing is the larger Tomahawk. So let me move these guys out of the way. I figured you guys might want to see what the actual bullets that hit the knives look like. So these are actually bullets that hit the knives and pieces of bullet casings that hit the knives and ricocheted off. I was able to find. So that's pretty cool. That's what those are. And the big Tomahawks, that's really interesting as well. So we'll show the big Tomahawks. So just very, very, like I say, very interesting here. that this is probably the most expensive tool on the table, and it took 2 direct hits. It took a hit to the handle and survived, and it took a hit here to the head and survived. It's a very well-made, very tough tool. Like I said from the beginning, great engineering. It's just not a well-designed tool as far as use goes. It doesn't work very well. So there's that. The Tomahawk, I shot this one time and just stopped because I've got so many videos of shooting these this is a bone breacher, excuse me. Direct hit right in the center. Couldn't get any more of a direct hit in the head of the Tomahawk, and of course 0 damage, no cracking, no nothing, no problems. Just a little paint chip there. No problems at all. Tomahawk's going strong. Again, you can see here this took a hit to the handle right here, and you can see the bullet hit right here. Hard impact. Hit the handle as well, but the handle survived. So this knife as well, this is the only other knife that survived, and this took a direct hit from a 9mm dead center of the blade as well, and did survive. We did discuss that this Holtzman survival was a little softer than some of the other blades, and so this actually was properly heat treated. Unfortunately, it was D2 steel, so it's just not as good as like a 5160 or the Bone Tactical Super Steel. It did lose edge. It did lose an edge when this one didn't, but this has proven to be overall pretty darn good knife. You know, I would say if you could get one of these for around $100, I would say that you would be doing very well. It's got a nice handle as well. It's not going to be as strong as this handle material, but it does have a nice handle. It is removable as well. So you might want a removable handle for some reason. I don't know why you would, but you might want a removable handle. This here is the impact from the 9mm. It doesn't show any damage. I'm not showing any. There's a slight bend in the blade actually, but I mean it's minimal. It's minimal bending. So yeah, there's a slight bend in the blade, but still definitely usable. And totally would say that that you can see the difference in proper heat treating on the table here actually. But believe it or not, the comm bar was, they did a good job with materials, and the blade was properly heat treated as well. And they did a great job with the comm bar. It has, you know, it wasn't designed by someone who knows what the needs of a tool are. So it doesn't have a use capability. Okay, so some of the items that have just come in for testing are this little light here from Feyachi HL20, pretty cool. Just basically now getting into the testing on it. The Ghost HDG from Siley Optics, which it's like basically a cheap RMR, but I really, really like it. For one thing, really stood out to me. It's got every kind of screw that you can imagine. It's got like 100 or more screws. They're individually labeled. It says, you know, the specifications, the nut diameter, the effective length, the wrench that it uses, whether it's a Torx 10 or whatever. It's really, really cool. I just love that it comes with every screw you can imagine, because I guess everybody that does these slides, this one's a Lone Wolf. Of course, you know, I've never had anything but problems from Lone Wolf. It's fun to practice with, but, you know, this one malfunctions. Pretty much everything that I can do to it, I've done, except putting such a light spring in there that I don't even know where I would get such a light spring, because the issues that it's having basically are just a lot of failure to feed issues, stuff like that. Anyway, the Lone Wolf RMR cutout that's on here, and I guess everybody has a different thread pattern that they use, so it's cool that the Siley Optics come with the screws for almost every thread pattern. I'll link this in the description below, like I say, all of these accessories, and that's kind of the accessories here. The reason we're shooting this stuff, I'll probably repeat again in the future somewhere, but it's just it just shows toughness, absolute show of toughness. 9mm projectile, you know, moving at faster than the speed of sound, impacting, shows a great deal whether the toughness is there or not. So the final thing is my shooting glasses are sponsored. Actually, not the final thing. A couple more things we're sending for testing. Shooting glasses. These are amazing, amazing shooting glasses. Nordic Eyewear. You can swap out the lenses for everything. You guys have seen a ton of videos of me using these on the boat with the sunglasses ones, or riding my bike with the red lenses. These Mud Gear boots I'm wearing, they're also sent in for testing. These 4-load pants I really like the 4 low pants. I really like the boots that I'm wearing, the Speed Rock mud gears, these 4 low pants. I really like this shirt as well. This is one of the first Gray Man Operation shirts I ever made. It's old and weathered and beat up, and it's still going strong, and I really like it. It's broken in is what I consider it, patinaed. But that's kind of the rundown here of the stuff that's been sent in for testing. Other than that, that's the reviews of everything on the table. Hope you guys like these videos. Comment below if you want to see more shooting, different things, or if you other shooting training or destruction testing. If you have other tests that you want to see, the knives and tomahawks and stuff try to survive, let me know. Comment below. Get involved with the channel, guys. Please subscribe. Make sure you click the bell, because you don't get notifications if you don't subscribe, and click the bell and you won't get to see. There's a ton of videos, similar videos. Make sure you watch the other videos. I'm doing separate videos on all aspects of testing, cut testing, chop testing, this, that, and the other. So check all those out. Thanks for watching. Bone out. Look at that. There's a little piece of one of the knives that's wedged in here. Look how much impact it would have taken. So that's why I do this testing. I mean, it's just a crazy amount of force that goes in. You can see, you know, different pieces of the broken knives either push through here, or shrapnel, or the knife itself. This might have been one of the, I think this is one of the Bone Tactical knives that might have pushed through the knife itself, got hit so hard. You know, you can see shrapnel from other, you know, knives and hits here. So I basically just did a sight in, walked in the new optic, and then put the knives right over the top of this and started testing. So pretty cool.